Welcome back. It's good to see you again. Welcome back into Drop of Golden Sun, our bookstore cafe. How can I help you today? Would you like a beverage? Well, we do have some summer seasonal beverages. We have a strawberry milk. Yeah, it's fun. It's a little less like milky than you'd expect. It's kind of more like strawberry juice. So it's actually very refreshing. And it comes with sliced strawberries on top. We also have raspberry lemonade and green tea lemonade. You're good for now? No worries. You came in for the books. Understandable. Well, it's actually been a while since you've been in. Yeah, I know I haven't seen you. Well, what can I help you find today? Did you have something picked out? Okay. Of course, recommendations are my specialty. So go ahead and tell me kind of like what you're looking for in terms of like genre, what you've liked recently, that sort of thing. Okay. Like how to or like informational? Okay. Historical. I do remember you like historical fiction. You and I both do. Yeah. Okay, mystery. Interesting mystery. Yeah, I'm not much of a mystery reader, but I can see what we have. Okay. So kind of just those categories? Sure. Well, if you don't mind just waiting here, then I will go grab some titles. Okay, perfect. Okay, be right back. Alright, so I am back. I picked out some titles that I thought you might enjoy. We can go over them. I can explain them a little bit, and then you can decide like if you're interested in these. And of course, feel free to just look around and have your own kind of browsing session. But yeah, just I love to get recommendations from a real live person. So, did you hear about that? Like a summer reading list got posted in a bunch of like major newspapers, and people pointed out that it was AI, because like over half the titles were fake, like they weren't real books. You know, if you're gonna try to steal our jobs, at least do it well. Okay, so let's see. So you said art books. Now I picked out like two. So the first one is this one. It's called Film Korea. It's got this kind of neon, what would you even call this? Like a pink, neon pinkish orange color. So it's kind of like a history and guide to Korean cinema, which is what it says on the cover. So we have Train to Busan, Parasite. I don't know what this one is. Old Boy. So yeah, so basically in this book, they just have a bunch of, well, it's a table of contents. And then it kind of starts with old Korean film and then goes chronologically. So the first one it has is called The Widow, which I've never heard of, but as you can see from the poster, that's quite old. 1955. And then it'll kind of give you like a review, talk about it, give you a little bit of further viewing. And I know from the past you are interested in Korea, so this could be a good one for you. And yeah, so it kind of just goes chronologically up until Parasite. up until a movie called Moving On, but basically this was published. It's still pretty relevant, is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah, 2023. So, yeah, this could be interesting. It's also, like, from a book nerd perspective, like, I like this book. It has, like, kind of a textured cover. And nice, really nice, kind of thick pages. Full color, so yeah, this would be a good one. And you know, there are other books about on Korean cinema that I've seen actually come through our store. And I really don't think you can go wrong with it, because it should really just be like a starting off guide. It's kind of a, what is it called? A coffee table book where you and guests can, while you're in your sitting room. Does anyone have a sitting room? While you're in your sitting room, you can just kind of peruse, just browse the books, and it gets you thinking about cinema, and then you can do your own kind of research. And obviously there's way more Korean movies than, you know, just what's in there. So that's an option. And then the other, you said art books, so I wasn't sure if you meant like about art, like about the cinema, or kind of a how-to. So this book is one of my favorite books ever. It's not a novel. It is an instructional manual called The Art of the Fold. So I'm going to take off the jacket. Well, I'll leave it on, but as you can see, it is this kind of like, has this jacket. It's a hardcover, and it also has this really nice textured cover. So what it is it's a instructional manual on how to fold like origami artist books. So you can kind of see this example on the back. But yeah, so it shows you, let me pull up a page with a lot of examples. Okay, maybe this is not the best example, but you can like make all these different kind of like maybe zine style books. You might be familiar with zines. It's somewhere between zine and origami. And there are more simple ones and more complex ones. So yeah, this one is really good, and I am working on this one. Just trying to work through the book and do kind of little prototypes, but yeah. And it's pretty like it's many levels friendly. So there's beginner level books, and if you're unfamiliar with bookbinding or origami or paper arts, it is totally accessible to you. But if you are familiar with like bookbinding or any of those things, there's also some more advanced folds, and there's a lot you can do with like paper making, printmaking, incorporating different media into it. So that is a book that I recommend to artists of like any media, really. Yeah, because it combines paper and sculpture, and it's really compatible with many other media. Yeah, so you can think about that. The rest of the books I picked out are novels. They're novels, yeah. Okay, so kind of, let's start with the kind of historical. So, I know you and I are both Lisa C. fans. So, from the author of The Island of Sea Women, A Snowflower and the Secret Fan, China Dolls. China Dolls, yep, I have that one by me. And she is just one of my favorite authors of all time. This is her most recent book. It's called Lady Tan's Circle of Women. Now, many women in my life were reading this when it first came out. So it is as most of Lisa C's books, it follows the life of all of her books are, most of her books are about Asian women in the past, historical Asian women. This is about a Chinese female physician. According to Confucius, an educated woman is a worthless woman, but Tan Yunjian, born into an elite family haunted by death, separation, and loneliness, is raised by her grandparents to be of use. From a young age, Yunjian learns the pillars of Chinese medicine from her grandmother and how to treat women's illnesses. So, and it's kind of a midwife book. I know midwifery is kind of its own genre, and if you're into that, I actually picked out another midwife book, oddly enough. But even if you're not into the midwife stuff, which I can understand, it's not really just about that. It is about her experience as a female physician, and it's based on a true story, which is really wonderful because it's impressive enough as it is, and then you think about the fact that it's a lot of it actually happened, and this was a real woman with a real diary. I guess that's not a good word for it because it's more like a physician's logbook, but yeah, she tracked her life, and yeah, it's a really good book. What I like about this book in particular is it kind of just follows the events of a woman's life. It does have somewhat of an overarching story, but what I really like about Lisa C is that she just kind of chronicles everyday people's lives. And that's kind of what you get in this story. But it's also interesting because she deals with plague and aristocratic births and autopsies, and so it has like a mystery element, and there is a mystery arc in here. So this one I'd recommend. And then while we're kind of on that subject, I'd like to compare it to this book. This is a newer book. So I want to say Lady Tan came out in like 2023 or something like that. So it's like about a year or two old. This one I think came out this year. Oh, 2023. Okay. I thought it was newer. I'm not quite sure, but this one is called The Frozen River by Ariel Lowen? Not quite sure. Now, this obviously is quite a different time period than Lisa C's Lady Tan's Circle of Women. However, it's actually very similar in many ways. So it takes place in Maine in 1789. So it's in the very early days of before the United States, I guess it's, the early days of the United States of America. It follows the life of a midwife and basically female physician, and it's a murder mystery. So, when the Kennebec River freezes, entombing a man in ice, Martha Ballard is summoned to examine the body. So she's a midwife and healer. So it's kind of it's definitely a mystery, but it also kind of just follows like her daily life. Now, what's similar about these two novels is that they're both based on a real female physician's logbook. So this one, and I didn't realize till the very end when I was reading the author's notes, that that Martha Ballard was a real woman, a real midwife, and very interesting, was really influential and revolutionary in the for future women doctors, and just overall a hero in American history. So yeah, I just think it's interesting. Not many people have heard of her, so it's good. This is a good book. And I don't tend to read this kind of book. I don't read mystery, and I don't read American history. So, but I really do recommend this. Both of these. Yeah. You can think about that, which ones you are interested in. Let's see. Okay, and then we'll have another Asian historical, and then I have another mystery. Which one would you like? The mystery? Okay. So this one also came out 2023, I want to say. But let's check. 2022. Okay. And this is the hardback version, but we do have the softcover version if you'd like. It has come out by now. Okay. So this is a very interesting book. Again, definitely not my kind of read. It's called Mad Honey. It has, first off, it's unique because it has 2 authors, by Jodi Picoult and Jennifer Finney Boylan. It is a mystery, a murder mystery. Blah, 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 blah. This is like the 4th paragraph of the synopsis. One day, Olivia receives a phone call. Lily is dead, and Asher is being questioned by the police. Olivia is adamant that her son is innocent, but she would be lying if she didn't acknowledge the flashes of his father's temper in Ash. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's told from like multiple perspectives. So there's like the girl who is murdered, and then there's the mother of the suspect. Very interesting, and there's kind of a twist. I won't say what it is, obviously, but it's not your typical mystery. And if you're interested in like beekeeping, I guess it's called Mad Honey because one of the characters is a beekeeper, and there's a lot of stuff on that. It's kind of like a motif. So yeah. Oh, these are the authors. 2 ladies. Yep. Okay. So that is our mystery, and then I have 2 more books to show you. So I appreciate your patience. Okay, now this one by Han Kang. It's called Human Acts. Human Acts. So this is her newest book, and I have a lot to say on it, but I will keep it to a minimum. So she recently won the Nobel Prize for Literature. Congratulations to Hong Kong, and congratulations to Korea. So yeah, she won the Man Booker International Prize for The Vegetarian, which I have behind me, and that I have read multiple times. She writes in a very poetic style. So for someone who's more used to something more literal, straightforward kind of writing, it leans more in the poetry direction, I would say. It's very flowery, very, I'm not sure what the term is, not avant-garde, but it pushes the boundaries a little bit. And so in that way, it is beautiful, and it's art. That being said, it's a difficult read. So I will just warn you with that, because you look at her books and you think, oh, they're quite short, but her books take me a really long time to read because of how flowery and abstract they are. But basically it takes place in 1980. There's something called the Gwangju Uprising, also known as the Gwangju Massacre, depending on who is telling the story. It's actually not funny at all, but basically, yes, there was military rule was used against protesters, civilian protesters. Well, yes, civilian protesters, and also just normal civilians who weren't protesting. And many people were killed at the hands of the government. And According to Vanity Fair, Hangang's human acts speaks the unspeakable. So there's highly disturbing material in this book. And it's told in multiple perspectives. So, in the midst of a violent student uprising in South Korea, a young boy named Dongho is tragically killed. The story of this tragic episode unfolds in a sequence of interconnected chapters as the victims and the bereaved encounter suppression, denial, and the echoing agony of the massacre. It's like some parts of this book are told from the perspective of a corpse. And then just the other interesting thing I wanted to address with this book is that the original and all of her books are written in Korean. She is a Korean author, and they're translated by Deborah Smith. Now, Deborah Smith deserves her own, and in fact she has won awards for her translations, but deserves credit herself, because to translate poetry is a whole nother ballgame. Keeping the original meaning, keeping the abstraction, etc. So she has a foreword in here, which I won't read you the whole thing, but I just think it's a little interesting. For some reason, I thought this was her new book. Okay, this is not new at all. I think I'm getting it mixed up with something else. Yeah, because it says copyright 2016, 2015. I'm not quite sure. I really did think this was her new book. I'll have to get back to you on that. Okay, no, 2014. Yeah, so this is not new at all. So okay, here, I'll just read you this little excerpt from the translation for the foreword by the translator. One of this translation's working titles was Uprisings. Oh, so I should mention that initially it was going to be called 소년이 온다, which means the boy is coming, I guess. One of this translation's working titles was Uprisings. As well as the obvious connection to the Gwangju uprising itself, a thread of words runs through the novel. Come out, come forward, emerge, surface, rise up, which suggests an uprising of another kind. The past, like bodies of the dead, hasn't stayed buried. Repressed trauma erupts in the form of memory. One of the main Korean words for to remember literally means to rise to the surface. Inadvertent, often hazy recollection that is the type of memory most common in Hangang's book. So yeah, so obviously there's like translation difficulties, and I think they're beautifully addressed by Deborah Smith, and the story is beautiful by Hangang. So this one is historical, and then I have one more beautiful book to present to you. This one is new. Oh my gosh, I keep saying they're new, and they might not be, so let's just check before I tell you when it was produced. 2024. This book is new. Okay, I'm correct on that one. By Kaveh Akbar. I'm not sure if I said his first name correctly, but this is him. Little picture there. Cyrus Shams is a young man grappling with an inheritance of violence and loss. His mother's plane was shot down over the skies of the Persian Gulf in a senseless accident, and his father's life in America was circumscribed by his work killing chickens at a factory farm in the Midwest. Cyrus is a drunk, an addict, and a poet whose obsession with martyrs leads him to examine the mysteries of his past. Toward an uncle who rode through Iranian battlefields dressed as the angel of death to inspire and comfort the dying, and toward his mother through a painting discovered in a Brooklyn art gallery that suggests she may not have been who or what she seemed. Interesting, huh? So, and I love the cover. This is so beautiful to me. This little illustration here. The black on yellow. And this shade of yellow. It is just simply gorgeous. My honest opinion of this book is I don't know if I liked it, to be honest with you. I just know that it is a gorgeous book, that it is amazing, but I don't know if I liked it. Is that fair? Does that make sense? Because I wasn't having read the description and I guess seeing the cover, I was expecting it to be historical. It's set in a historical setting with like set in Persia. So yeah, but it's set in modern day America. About and the protagonist is of Iranian descent. It's very good, but I tend to not like contemporary set stories. That's all. So, but yeah, it's very beautiful. Martyr, yeah, Martyr is so much its own creation that comparisons don't help. And it's definitely a mystery. There's a lot of like, ooh, there's a twist at the end. So yeah, I do recommend this book. I'd be interested to see what you think. And 10 best books of 2024, National Book Award finalist. This copy has good presence too. Kind of like a good weight to it. Bendy. And I respect the amount of words on the pages. Too many modern books. The words take up like a fourth of the page. So those are the books I have to present to you today. Are you interested in taking any of them home? Yeah. These two? The Frozen River and Lady Tans? Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great choice, and I would really be curious to hear your analysis and your like comparison of the two. I was I guess not shocked, but intrigued. I was intrigued by their similarities. Yeah, so okay. So great. Okay. So they're both going to be $17. I know you have rewards with us. Yeah? Okay, so then one of these would be free. Yes. Okay, perfect. And then, yeah. I assume cashier card. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so you can just tap right there. It'd be the 17. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the student discount. Yeah, so you can have 15% off. Oh, I know. Just no worries. I'll give you a discount. I like you. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay, perfect. So then these are now yours. Is there anything else I can help you with today? All right. Well, I will see you soon. Thank you for stopping in. All right. Have a great day. Bye.